In our headlines tonight, Anambra stakeholders describe State Assembly election as peaceful. Governor OBIANO urges in Anambra to support efforts of his administration towards mass infrastructural development. Low voter turnout, violence, and ballot snatching mark governorship and State Assembly elections in parts of the country. On the foreign scene, Lebanon's Hezbollah appeals for donations to combat harsh effects of sanctions from U.S. and other Western countries. A beautiful good evening to you. We're so glad to have you join us on the news. My name is Maureen Stone Enujoke. Governor OBIANO has commended the peaceful conduct of the State Assembly election in the state. Governor OBIANO, who arrived at his polling unit 001, OHANEZE Ward 1, Aguleri, Anambra East local government area with his wife, Ebelechukwu, at exactly 9:45 a.m., went straight and cast his ballot. Addressing the media shortly after exercising their franchise, Governor OBIANO tasked the citizenry, especially the youth, on protecting the votes to make sure they count. Ejike Abana has the details.
Despite the poor turnout at the center, Governor OBIANO expressed satisfaction at the number of persons he met on ground, saying that he hopes people would turn out in larger numbers in voting centers across the state. Afterwards, he described the process as fair while commending the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the process.
This voting center is very peaceful, and people are very anxious to vote. The queue is long. I hope it will be like that in all the polling booths. I encourage the youth to stay by, watch their votes counted, and also follow through to the collation centers and make sure that their vote counts.
At Otuocha Ward 1, Unit 001, with impressive turnout of voters, the Director of Anambra State Sports Development Commission, Chief Tony Lee, commended INEC, describing it as improvement when compared with what happened during the presidential and national assembly elections.
Yeah, so far so good, even though early in the morning we had a challenge of the card reader, but it has been rectified and voting has started. And if you look back, you can see the crowd. A lot of people came out today. I mean, it's quite an improvement, especially in the voter turnout. Like the previous one, there was a lot of voter apathy. We didn't know, but this is a great improvement.
On his part, at Mboko Public Square, Unit 007, Aguleri, the Commissioner for Works, Engineer Marcel Ifejiofo, said that voting materials arrived at exactly 8 a.m. and commended the conduct of the entire process.
There's an improvement, especially on the carrier, because it came and the time of starting, we started exactly 8 a.m. and we are moving on.
From Aguleri, in Anambra East Council area, Ejike Abana, ABS News. Now, let me hand over to my colleague, Emmanuel Okonkwo, for more reports on the election.
Thank you, Ejike Abana. Meanwhile, the State Deputy Governor, Dr. Nkemo Okeke, has commended Anambra for their massive turnout at the State House of Assembly elections, despite the outcome of the February 23rd Presidential and National Assembly elections. The Deputy Governor gave the commendation in company of his wife, Lady Obi, shortly after voting at his polling unit 003, Uluekwu Primary School, Enugu, Ward 2, Njikoka local government area. On arrival with the Deputy Governor at some polling units, including Umuezuawovu polling unit 005, Ward 3, Uluobo polling unit 001, Ward 1, Obago Ulupaleke polling unit 009, Ward 3, Etitiawovu polling unit 008, Ward 3, all in Enugu. It was observed that both accreditation and voting were in progress. Deputy Governor Okeke, who appreciated the professional disposition of the INEC officials, charged them to ensure transparency and credibility in the release of the election results, expressing hope that candidates of the All Progressives Grand Alliance ABGA would triumph in the exercise. Some of the electorates who spoke to the ABS, including Engineer Daniel Ekene, Mrs. Echezona Udoka, Mr. Okechukwu Agbanu, Chin Okoye, among others, described the election as peaceful and appealed to the INEC to respect the mandate of the people.
The past is the past. This election is very crucial. We have returning officers who are going to be here to the end. Nobody's leaving until the results are announced.
Ndị INEC kwesị ihe ọbụla like onwe ndị ha zipụ ọlụ oge ndị ahụ jeche dị ọlụ wetara ha result ka ha si weje na the field ha lụ ọlụ a kwesị use that result ndị ahụ wetara ha wee mee ihe.
From Enugu Ukwu in Njikoka local government area, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo reporting for ABS News.
As part of its commitment towards sustaining the tempo of infrastructural development across the state government has flagged off a 3-kilometer Innocent Drive, Uru Umudim, Newi Road. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo was at the flag of ceremony and now reports.
The Innocent Drive, Uru Umudim Road is among the 4 separate roads currently being constructed by the state government for the people of Nnewi, including the Ahazo Uruagu 5-kilometer road, 1.5-kilometer Osita Onyejianya road, and one other. Flagging off the road on behalf of the state governor, Chief Willie Obiano, the deputy governor, Dr. Nkemo Okeke, said that the project is part of the present administration efforts towards putting smiles on the faces of the citizenry, and assured that such gesture would be extended to other parts of the state. Governor Obiano, however, solicited for the total support of Nnewi and the entire state residents to his administration to enable him achieve more for all.
On this road. Amen. Amen. The company will progress. Their companies will progress. I do this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
In an opening remarks, one of the leaders of thought in the area, Chief Gabriel Chukwuma, appreciated the present administration for its people-oriented dispositions and promised on behalf of Nnewi people to continue to unflinchingly support the Governor Obiano government for sustained peace and continuous distribution of democracy dividends in the state. In an interview, the contractor handling the project, Sir Okwosa Bobby, disclosed that the projects would be completed and handed over to the state government in 3 months, as the government has already paid them mobilization fee. From Innocent Drive, Uru Umudim Road, Nnewi, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo reporting for ABS News.
OHANEZE NDIGBO Anambra State Chapter has donated money to victims of last month's tanker fire at Amobia roundabout of the old Onitsha Expressway and promised intervention onward negotiation with appropriate unions and governments for their welfare. Chief Damien Okeke made the presentation during a visit to the scene of the incident, accompanied by the representative of Nupeng, Mr. Boniface Okafo, and victims of the inferno, led by the market leaders. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike was part of the visit and filed this report.
The petrol tanker fire resulted to multiple deaths and destruction of property worth billions of naira. Speaking to newsmen at the scene of the incident, Chief Okeke said that the OHANEZE, as Apex Igbo socio-political organization, seeks to bridge the communication gap between the Nupeng and the victims of the inferno as a way of ameliorating the difficulties caused by the tanker explosion through initiating compensation process with appropriate authorities. While appreciating Governor Willie Obiano for his magnanimity nature, he described the incidents as huge tragedy to the people, expressing optimism that the meeting will yield fruitful results, and used the opportunity to appeal to the Transition Committee Chairman of Awka South Local Government Area and other stakeholders to initiate ways of helping the affected persons to come back to their feet, as government cannot do everything.
Why we intervene is to make sure that the tanker drivers union and Ukraine understands that these are our brothers, and something must be done to see that they alleviate their suffering. We are mediating, and we are going to follow it up, because these are human beings, and I'm happy they sent somebody today for this meeting, and we have met, and we continue to meet. Less is lie between them and the government of Anambra State to find a way to assist.
Responding, the Vice Chairman, 6th Avenue Business Association, Mr. Ike Chukwukafo, and Chairman, Agro Road Traders Association, Mr. Sunday OBIANO, appreciated the OHANEZE NDIGBO Anambra State for its proactive measures to give succor to the people, and appealed to both state and federal governments, including groups and organizations, to assist them to resume with their source of livelihood. Recall that Governor OBIANO, at the scene of the incident, sympathized with the victims and promised to offset all hospital bills, assuring that the state government would do its best in averting future occurrence.
Seeing the memories of the impact of the inferno is not what an individual organization can show that it's our responsibility. A lot of cars burnt, customers' cars that came to buy something in those shops. So those people have to be compensated.
There's a word of appeal. We are begging the government to rally land and assist us and help us. A lot of us here are jobless as of now, to feed their family problems to them.
From Amobia, in Awka South Local Government Area, Chibuzo Obidike, ABS News.
The increasing number of orphans and vulnerable children across the country has been identified as a serious threat to the actualization of sustainable development goals. Speaking to journalists in Awka, the state chairman of the Nigeria Red Cross Society, Professor Peter Kachi, said the plight of the children has become a major humanitarian and development challenge facing Nigeria. Paul Izoke now reports.
Professor Kachi lamented that insurgency, HIV, and AIDS pandemic have made the problem worse, as they are producing millions of orphans and countless vulnerable children whose rights are being violated as a result of the combined effects of poverty, conflicts, terrorism, and gender inequality. He explained that the children are often left to experience untold economic hardship, lack of love and attention, withdrawal from school, poor health, psychological trauma, and emotional difficulties. Sakashi warned that unless proactive measures are taken immediately to reverse the situation, it will have far-reaching adverse effects on the human capital development of the country. He noted that while individuals and groups operating and managing orphanages and motherless babies' homes have done and are still doing their part in giving succor to the children, government at all levels should chart an effective way towards addressing the plight of orphans and abandoned children in the country as a matter of deliberate policy and top priority.
Political situations of the country and a lot of other disaffections because of irreconcilable things that are happening in the country. There is terrorism, there is insurgency, there is HIV, and there is economic hardship. All these things have vitiated this particular situation of orphans, vulnerable children, and also motherless babies. And apart from that, the most dangerous one is homelessness. A lot of people are homeless. Others go back to their homes and sleep and wake up from their homes. There are a lot of people who have no homes.
Professor Kachi called for sustained advocacy on dangers of HIV at family, community, and local government levels, and urged youth to embrace responsible life and avoid acts capable of derailing their future and endangering their lives. In Awka, Paul Izoke, ABS News.
To come, low voter turnout, violence, and ballot snatching mark governorship and state assembly elections in parts of the country. And on the foreign scene, Lebanon's Hezbollah appeals for donations to combat harsh effects of sanctions from U.S. and other Western countries. Stay on, we shall be back after the break. Here is a public service announcement. Anambra State Government cancels collection of levies and fees in all markets in Anambra State. This is to inform the public that Anambra State Government has cancelled the collection of all forms of levies and fees in markets and streets in Anambra State. The cancellation will be in effect until 1st June 2019. The 3-month cancellation period is to enable government and leadership of the various markets to deliberate and agree on a better and more effective model of collecting fees and levies in the markets. The public is hereby also reminded that the ban on sales of emblem is still in force. Anybody caught violating this cancellation and ban on sales of emblem will be arrested and prosecuted. This is for the attention of market unions and their leadership, traders, security agencies, and the public. Announcer, Mr. C. Don Adenoba, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment. Glad to have you back. The governorship and state assembly elections were marred in some parts of the country by low voter turnout, ballot snatching, and other electoral frauds. Governorship election was held in 29 states of the country, and state assembly election was held in all the states, while council election was held in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. There were reports of heavy military deployments in some parts of the country and attacks against INEC offices and facilities, while malfunctioning of card readers were reported in many polling units. Correspondents also reported that suspected thefts set INEC offices, RAC centers, and election materials ablaze in Ebonyi, Benue, and Akwa Ibom states, while there was also reports of thuggery and alleged underage voters in some parts of the country, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. In another development, 5 fake policemen and 2 soldiers were allegedly arrested in Imo State. However, there was peaceful conduct of the exercise in other parts of the country, including Anambra State, where voting was done in orderly manner. Lebanon's Hezbollah has called for donations from its popular base because it says it is coming under financial pressure as a result of Western sanctions. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah's appeal came after Britain announced that it would seek to make membership of the Shia movement or inviting support for it a crime. It also followed the United States ramping up sanctions against the group with its latest rafts of measures in November targeting Nasrallah's son, Jawad, among other individuals. Hezbollah was established in 1982 during Lebanon's civil war and is now a major political party in the country, holding 3 cabinet posts. The movement has been designated a terrorist organization by the U.S. since 1997, and the group's armed wing fights alongside the government of Syria's President Bashar al-Assad in the country's civil war. And now sports. Female national team Super Falcons have received another strong warning from one of their group rivals at this year's FIFA Women's World Cup as Norway romped to victory against Poland. Norway showed their venom a few hours after the Falcons also beat Thailand 3-0 in the last match of the Cyprus International Women's Cup as both teams prepare for the Mundial. However, while the Falcons finished 7th in Cyprus, Norway won the 26th Algarve Cup with a 3-0 defeat of surprise packages and last-minute guests Poland in the final. The competition featured 7 of the teams who will run out of France 2019, meaning Falcons coach Thomas Denaby should take note of Norway's form at the event, which also revealed much about their form in the countdown to the big event in France. Remember that you can also follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging onto our website, www.absradiotv.com. Like us at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Just before we go, a recap of the main points. Anambra stakeholders have described State Assembly election as peaceful. Governor OBIANO has urged Anambra to support efforts of his administration towards mass infrastructural development. Low voter turnout, violence, and ballot snatching marred governorship and State Assembly elections in parts of the country. And on the foreign scene, Lebanon's Hezbollah has appealed for donations to combat harsh effects of sanctions from U.S. and other Western countries. And that's it on the news for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Marin Stone Enucheke. Good night and sleep tight.